Like, when he feels like he's better than the other player, he kind of just gets too aggressive. But herO, I think he's learned a bit after that one. He talked with his coach. But we'll have to see. We're going to jump into game number 3 here on Foxtrot Labs between Stats and herO in the winners match. Down here in the bottom left in the red. Just won the second game here. He's Stats.
Top right. CJ herO. Overly aggressive last game. Will he make the same mistake again? I truly hope not. But I do hope for a proxy Valdez, I gotta admit. I feel like it really spices up a PvP.
Yeah. Adds a bit of, I don't know, fun to the beginning. Because in the last one, you know, if they're both going the same build, a very safe build, Blink into Robo, you're not going to see much action. Just got to wait until that mid-game, but
yeah, man.
I like when the sparks are flying right from the get-go.
We don't have the same kind of jokes that Tastosis do, so we die in that early game, dude.
Yeah, man, we're trying our best. But yeah, I mean, Foxtrot Labs, another map that's pretty big for a 2-player map. There's a lot of different hills, a lot of different levels to put your proxy on. You can go corners. You can try to be a bit more greedy, put it closer, maybe north of Stats base if herO wants to go for it.
But it can't be too obvious, Valdez. That is the next thing. Because, I mean, that Mothership core is obviously going to be scouting around when it's out, looking for those kind of proxies. Something to keep in mind. You got to be smart about your proxies.
That's the balance you got to find. You got to find the perfect spot where it's hard to scout, but it's close enough that it's effective. Especially if you're going Stargate. Because the closer those units get out, the faster they arrive, and the faster they can do damage.
So far, we really see no proxies or scouts on the map for either player. I feel like we're going to see the same of last game, Valdez. I think both players are going to be going into that Blink, into Robo, play it out, probably poke each other a little bit with Blink Stalkers, and from there, go into that second base.
Yeah,
not seeing anything too crazy.
We do have a interesting pylon out of Stats in the bottom right.
It is a bit of a funky pylon, isn't it?
You know, Foxtrot Labs, the mains are very long, I guess you can call it. They're kind of big. There's a lot of space. There's that one nook where you can put some tech.
It's a bit wonkadoodle.
Bit of a wonkadoodle, is that what you call it?
If I'd have to call it anything, man, I'd call it that, because I don't know what else you'd call it.
A nook?
No, dude. No.
Not a nook? Okay.
No. It's a little bit more than that. You got to add a little bit more when it's that crazy.
All right. Although we don't see any tech being put there just yet.
No. Oh, Stargate at the back of the base for Stats. He's going to be the first person to make a change. And we are seeing the same from herO. Second gate being added. Obviously want to get out that fast. Second and third Stalker. From there, I think we'll see the Twilight.
Yeah, this is a pretty good build against Stargate, actually. You can get the Stalkers out on the map very, very fast. And imagine if he catches this Mothership core out. It's getting pretty close. That Mothership core does not have enough for a recall. Oh, man. He's actually going to run right into it.
Yeah, we're going to have a Mothership kiss. Nearly. From there. herO, he's turning his Stalker around. Obviously, he wants to try and do some damage to it.
What's the energy here? It's at 90. It's getting pretty close.
Does not want to waste a recall, but I think it'll have to. Unless the Stalker comes from
Oh, it's so close. 97, 98, 99.
It's going to stay. I think he thinks he can defend it with the Stalker, but little does he know, there's extra Stalkers on the map for herO. He did go for that double gate build.
Now the Stalker's going to get caught out.
Can he kill it? One more shot.
When it turns up the ramp, possibly. And he's actually going to go for the Mothership core at the same time. Does not go down.
Ooh, we did see Phoenix, actually. This is going to help out in Stalker vs. Stalker, but not enough. Still 3 Stalkers against 2, and 1 in the red.
That guy's getting so low.
Oh, I think they might be able to get him. No. Not yet.
Keep in mind, that Mothership core has no energy.
Wow.
Just recalled.
Pulling all those probes. He's going to try and block them off, and he does so successfully. But all he's got is probes and a Mothership, so still he's losing a lot of money keeping them off the mineral line.
Phoenix doesn't have any energy to lift. Oh, man. This is doing way too much damage. herO actually has the Nexus at a similar time as well.
Oh, he's going to get the Mothership.
There you go. Loses a Stalker for it, but I feel like it's worth it.
Completely worth it at this point. We're seeing a 4 probe advantage for herO at this point. Link Stalkers on the way. So herO going to be transitioning into the same style we saw in the last game, but with a pretty nice lead.
Really cool build. Seems like Stats is just going to stay on one Phoenix, not really putting any more into that. It's good for a scout. Can be annoying to the Mothership Core as well.
I'm guessing Stats may have thought it was a Oracle build from herO, so that one Phoenix would have just completely hard countered it. I feel like that was maybe his original intention with it, but instead running into a 2-gate Stalker.
Yeah, very good points. Really good build out of herO, actually. Reading the situation quite well. Maybe a bit of reading far ahead. Maybe he thought that Stats would read into that and goes for this build to counter it. The Blink build is interesting, though. I wonder what he's trying to do with this. Is he just going to try to go kill Stats with the Blink? Because as we go later and later on, the Blink isn't really as valuable as, let's say, 3 Immortals or Colossi Tech.
Yeah, it seems like herO wants to do what he did last game to a point. Hopefully not go overboard like he did last game, but apply pressure, force out units that do not want to be made from Stats this early on. And maybe, just maybe he wants to kind of help out against any sort of Stargate harassment as well. So only 1 Phoenix on the map. Maybe if that was 4, they could be a lot more prevalent, and he might actually want to keep those Stalkers at home. Instead, moving across the map with 6. Going to see what he can get done. Not much of a defense from Stats so far. Only 2 Immortals, 2 Sentries, and a Stalker.
Immortals now coming out for herO. Can follow up with that Blink with a couple Immortals, maybe. But he is adding that Templar Archives. Looks like he just wants to put on the harass with these Stalkers, but going up against 2 Immortals is going to be pretty hard.
Might not even be worth it. It's kind of a hard sort of map to Blink to the main base as well, so there's not really much he can find with it. Maybe just showing himself. Blinking home. We are seeing a Warp Prism also being made for herO.
As well as the Templar Archives, which, with all these gates coming down, I mean, you could say, okay, he is going Charge-Lot Archon.
Ooh.
Possibly could go into that, but he could also research Storm.
That Phoenix kind of patrolling around. Imagine he just ran into the Warp Prism. He could maybe even kill it if the Stalkers weren't there.
And there's that Storm. He's already got 2 High Templar. I think he has warped them into the Warp Prism.
Yeah, he's got them
there.
They
are.
So, looks like herO just wanting to get more ahead. Not a bad idea. Expanding at the same time. Simply no way Stats knows this is coming either. A lot of gateways being added for Stats, by the way. 6 gateways. Charge lot. Last one almost finished. So it's same kind of style as last game. From Stats, same army composition. The big difference for herO especially is no Colossi.
No Colossi just yet. 3 Immortals in the mix for Stats. It's a very solid army, but not so good against Storm drops. Stats sending out his Warp Prism just a little bit too early. It's not going to scout the Warp Prism of herO. And now Storm is done.
And here we go. Looks like herO posturing up to drop into the main base.
He's distracting with the Stalkers at the front. Here we go. Storm drops coming down.
Oh, whoa.
Huge damage being done. 12 probes do go down.
That was a perfect Storm drop if I've ever seen one. Complete damage, gets out alive with everything. Cancels the third base at the same time with 6 Stalkers. Could not have gone better for herO in any single way.
herO's ruling this game once again. He's got his third base up now. And it looks like Stats.
Yeah, 4 Zealots. 4 Charge Lots almost. Gonna try into the natural, but guess what? There's a whole army waiting for you. It's not gonna do the same.
And at the third base, there's nothing there. Except a cannon. Yep, and that's exactly what we expected. Will be pushed back. The Oracle is still out here, but didn't quite micro that anymore. Here we go once again. The drop coming in, but the probes are pulled, and a good split should be able to stop this.
Well, hey, guess what? That is damage as well. And here we go. Oh, nice feedback. One storm gets off. More probes. And that caused a lot of chaos. There was a lot of probes pulled off the line in the main base, and then 4 probes going down in the natural. Gonna end up losing it, but nicely done. Really, really nice from herO. And that is some sufficient economic damage if I've ever seen some.
That it is. He still has that third base, keep in mind. He hasn't really mined from it. That is the problem. I think he's just waiting for his main to mine up, possibly. Not really making too many probes. Not really committing to that. Knows he still needs a stable army, as stats on 2 base could make a huge army and just go for a big attack and possibly win.
Well, we've seen no third base being remade from stats either. So it feels like it's really just an empty third into an aggression, because he has done so much damage economically. He scouts that there's no third, so herO goes, okay, I didn't have to do anything. I turn around. And it really means stats has to be the aggressor, right? Because stats, he simply cannot just sit on 2 base forever, make an army, and expect to win the game. He's either going to have to do that, he's either going to have to expand, or he's going to have to be the aggressor.
Neither of which seem to be working out for him, by the way.
Yeah, he's simply just staying on 2 base and inviting herO to come in and attack. herO scouts everything. There's even a pylon sort of a pylon SimCity to kind of help out against this. And here we go. herO's going to go for it. I don't know if it's the best idea. I
don't know about this. You're attacking into a concave. All those zealots being shot by all of those 7 Archons by stats. It feels like he's trying to just force the issue right now.
I think it's unnecessary, Valdez. I think he could be sitting at his third base, and from here, he could just wait for stats, because stats has no choice but to attack at this point. He is down a base. He has to attack, or he will just lose the game by simple numbers eventually.
Yeah, and I feel like stats is beginning to realize this. Wants to put on the pressure. He sees that herO is finally now saturating up that third base. And he looks like he's moving out on the map and going for an attack, whereas herO, he's got 7 zealots in this drop. Going to start getting to work on those pylons. If he can actually unpower that, that's a lot of time away from those warp gates.
That is 9 Archons for stats, by the way. And here we go. Nice concave, actually, for stats, but big storms going down the entire Archon army.
A big time warp there on a large chunk of the army here for herO as well. Still seems like he's got a decent army, but stats also is a huge army here, actually. All of his Archons pretty much staying alive, yes. And herO has to back off here.
Oh, this is a big problem for herO. There's simply too many Archons left. And I think stats might be able to close this out. Look at the supply difference.
It's pretty close, though. He does unpower all of those gateways back, and herO still has all of his warp gates. Is he barely going to hold this?
Oh, it's going to be close. He is losing all his probes. Even if he does, I mean, his economy is crippled.
Oh my god. Some zealots do get warped in. Those Archons are so low, and he's just barely going to hold this off.
Just
a ton of probes do go down, as you do mention here, but it looks like for now all the army of stats does go down. Look at the supplies right now.
Ooh, if he can salvage at least some of his army.
If he can blink onto that warp prism, that would be huge as well.
Yeah, he's definitely going to do that. But the warp prism can take out a lot. It is containing an immortal and a zealot.
Crazy micro right now.
And look, we're seeing just simply a big counterattack from herO, because look at what herO has. He's on 42 supply. He has 18 probes to the 41 of stats. Stats has his third base up. He can Maynard probes to that base. All he has to do is defend from here, just like herO did.
Yeah, and once he finally got those gateways powered up again, he was able to warp in a big amount of units, and now he's actually ahead of herO. This is actually so close.
Yeah, how funny is that? It's just completely turned on its head. Now the situations are essentially opposite. herO has like practically down a base to stats at this point. Maybe even more so considering how poorly his probe saturation is.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that one attack by herO was actually a mistake. He lost a lot of zealots in it, and that allowed stats to just stay on 2 base and get a bigger army with all of those Archons.
Oh, definitely.
And just fight in. And now that he's killed so many probes, this is forcing herO in. He has to attack.
He has to attack. still. Stats has to be careful. Nice. Sort of concave from Stats. Good wraparound with the Zealots. A lot of Archons for both. 4 Archons for herO. There's Immortals helping out as well, but here comes the reinforcements from Natural, and I think Stats might have enough.
Even that one Zealot, rather than one Phoenix getting into the mix. The Oracle coming back here as well, and it looks like Stats is just barely going to be able to hold this off. And with the probe lead that he has, looks like Stats may be able to take this game. He is getting way far ahead right now.
Oh, man. He's up 40 supply, 50 supply. I think he has sealed the deal.
GG.
GG. Wow. Big mistakes from herO, big throws. And Stats can't believe it, I feel. Like, that guy actually attacked into my pile on SimCity, yo.
You saw Stats open his mouth. He's like, what? I did it? I actually did it. Stats gets out of the group in first place.
Well, that is a huge achievement, especially in this group. And herO looking a little salty after that. Not surprised. Going to be waiting for the winner of Life and Classic, which will be coming up next.
Yeah, I think herO knows it. Looking a little bit disappointed in himself. Man, that was just unbelievably close, that last game especially.
It ended up being a pretty exciting one, Valdez, when it came down to it.
That was a fun PvP, man. That's not the kind where you make 7 Colossi and just get a better arc and win in one big battle. That was back and forth.
Oh, well.